Okay, so now this is FCA timeframes, Article 3 hearings. So these are all the timeframes for all the hearings in Article 3, which is juvenile delinquent. So these are, first I'm going to tell you all of the hearings and then we'll go through each time frame. So number 1 is pre-trial hearing. Number 2 is probable cause hearing. Number 3 is fact-finding hearing. Number 4 is dispositional hearing. Number 5 is extension of placement hearing. Number 6 is permanency hearing. So number 1, pre-trial hearing. Okay, must be held within 72 hours of the time detention commenced or the next day court is in session. Again, pre-trial hearing must be held within 72 hours of the time detention commenced or the next day court is in session, whichever is sooner. Okay, so this is if child was taken into custody. Then we have the probable cause hearing. Shall be detained for more than 3 days pending fact-finding hearing. Court shall schedule a probable cause hearing within 3 days of initial appearance or 4 days following the filing of petition, whichever is sooner. And this is to determine probable cause crime was committed and that the respondent was the one who committed the crime. Okay, so for probable cause, you have more than 3 days pending fact-finding hearing, and then a probable cause hearing within 3 days of initial appearance or 4 days following the filing of petition, whichever is sooner. Okay, then we have fact-finding hearing. That is respondent. Okay, so this has to do with detention or non-detention, so keep that in mind when we get to fact-finding hearing. When respondent is detained and charged with an A, B, or C felony, hearing must commence within 14 days. So just also keep in mind that with the higher charges, the detention is going to be longer, right? Again, so respondent detained and charged with an A, B, or C felony, hearing must commence within 14 days. Okay. All right, and then if the respondent is detained with less than a C felony, shall be held no more than 3 days after conclusion of initial appearance. Okay, so less than a C felony shall be held no more than 3 days. So if it's A, B, or C felony, 14 days. If it's less than a C felony, 3 days after conclusion of initial appearance. Okay, and if the respondent is not detained, it's going to be 60 days of the initial appearance. Okay. Next, we have dispositional hearing. So again, we're dealing with detention. If respondent is detained, okay, so this is not only detention, but it's designated, not found to have committed a designated felony act. So respondent is detained, not found that he's committed a designated felony act. The dispositional hearing commences not more than 10 days after entry of fact-finding order, preponderance of evidence. Okay, so if respondent detained, not found that the respondent committed a designated felony, the dispositional hearing is going to commence not more than 10 days after the entry of the fact-finding order. Okay, so then we have extension of placement hearing. Okay, so the respondent is placed for a non-designated felony. Okay, petition filed at least 60 days prior to expiration. Again, respondent placed for a non-designated felony, petition filed at least 60 days prior to expiration. Okay, and last but not least, oh wait, there's more, sorry. Da, da, da. Conclusion of hearing court. Okay. So 60 days prior to expiration, and then conclusion of hearing. At the conclusion of the hearing, the court may extend it for 1 year. Okay, then we have permanency hearing. Permanency hearing is 12 months or fewer. And then the PPH held not more than 12 months after child entered foster care. Again, permanency hearing, 12 months or fewer. PPH held not more than 12 months after child entered foster care. And that's it. It's a lot of time frames, holy smuckers. We went from within 72 hours or the next day court is in session, whichever is sooner, for the pretrial hearing. Then for probable cause hearing, we went from the 72 hours with a pretrial. Probable cause hearing is more than 3 days pending fact-finding hearing. And then probable cause hearing within 3 days of initial appearance or 4 days following the filing of petition, whichever is sooner. And then we went to the actual fact-finding hearing. We got into the detentions with the felony charges, right? So respondent detained and charged with A, B, or C felony. Hearing must commence within 14 days, but anything less than a C felony is going to be 3 days. Less than a C felony, right? No more than 3 days after conclusion of initial appearance. Okay, and then if the respondent is not detained for fact-finding hearing, 60 days. Okay, then we have dispositional hearing. Okay, and if respondent is detained, not found to have committed, the respondent is detained and found not to have committed a designated felony, act of dispositional hearing commences not more than 10 days after the entry of fact-finding order. Okay, and then you have extension of placement hearing. Respondent placed, okay, the respondent is placed for a non-designated felony, petition filed at least 60 days prior to expiration. And then last but not least, permanency hearing, 12 months or fewer, PPH held not more than 12 months after child entered foster care. Holy smuckers. 72 hours, more than 3 days, within 3 days of initial appearance or 4 days of filing a petition. A, B, or C felony, 14 days, less than C felony, 3 days. I'm trying to do this fast, but it's impossible. Dispositional hearing, if they didn't commit a designated felony act, not more than 10 days after entry of fact-finding hearing. And then permanency hearing, 12 months or fewer, PPH held not made more than 12 months after child entered foster care. I tried. Thank you.